FIFA has finally launched a proper study into ACL injuries in women's football, and it's about time. Hi, I'm Tilly. I work with female athletes every day, helping them not only recover from ACL tears, but more importantly, think of that magic keyword, prevent them. Prevent ACL tears happening in the first place, because let's be honest, the prevention conversation is still not loud enough. So just for FIFA to recognise this and say, hang on a second, let's try and do something about this, is a huge step in the women's game. And I feel that women are finally having that respect that we've asked for and kind of commanded this whole entire time to be treated like professional athletes when we're expected to play like one. Stay with me, because whilst this FIFA study is a big step forward, there's a lot we already know and a lot that, in my opinion, we can do right now to reduce the risk for women's ACL tears. We know female footballers are 6 to 8 times more likely to tear their ACL than male players. We're seeing huge names go down every season: Sam Kerr, Vivian Medina, Beth Mead, Leah Williamson. And yes, I work with women recovering from ACL tears weekly, but prevention is the part that truly keeps me up at night, because so much of it, I think, with the right approach, is avoidable. The real issue and the biggest problem I think that we could do, which would make the biggest impact, would be just get our female athletes strong enough. So many young girls and even top level players are lacking force in key movement patterns, landing, de-acceleration, change of direction. These ladies, these females, they're not weak mentally, they just haven't had the access to the proper S&C. And context matters to this too, because many female athletes, even at elite level, are working second jobs just to make ends meet. The financial support just isn't there, not like it is in the men's game. That extra stress and lack of time for proper training, absolutely, without question of doubt, impacts injury risk. What is FIFA actually funding? So FIFA is now funding a study at Kingston University, which is in the UK, focusing on hormonal changes across the menstrual cycle. They'll be tracking estrogen and progesterone and comparing it with movement testing, things that are high risk activities and we know where ACL tears happen. So landing after a header or changing direction at speed. The key question that they're asking is, are women more vulnerable to ACL injuries during certain phases of their cycle? I think it's amazing this research is finally happening. But while hormones might play a role, in my opinion, they're not the only story. So let me give you my penny's worth on this. Yes, we've needed this research for years, but there are already lots of points of data out there, albeit not crystal, not perfect, and probably not to the level FIFA are going to. We already know that the menstrual cycle can impact women's risk of ACL tear. However, women are still wearing boots that are designed for men. Our feet are very, very different, trust me. We have naturally wider hips, which affects the knee position and loading and puts us more at risk of going into valgus, that part where your knee goes in and then your ACL will leave the chat if there's too much force and velocity and you can't control your body mass going over the knee. We play on poor quality pitches. Often the men wouldn't never ever be expected to play on the pitches that women get expected to play on. And we still get less funding, worse gym access, and often no individualised strength work at all. On top of that, many women are balancing full-time jobs or education, studying, often with little to no support or time for proper recovery or training outside of their, team. So yes, FIFA, hormonal shifts matter, but prevention starts with building stronger, more prepared female athletes. That's one of the reasons I actually created my female-specific ACL prevention plan, which is based on my years of working with women, testing movement patterns and seeing what I think women are really missing. But again, that's just my penny's worth on the topic. What can we actually do now though? Because I think personally, we don't need to wait for a study to actually start to implement some key things that could make a big difference. Things like testing single leg control early, not after an injury. We look at it after an injury and go, oh yeah, that doesn't look as optimal as it could have been. But how about we do that beforehand? Prevention is key here. Actually train strength and force absorption. Teach landing and cutting mechanics from a young age. Half of the ACLs that I start to work with have never been taught how to actually cut and de-accelerate safely. Program around the cycle if possible. Fund women's S&C properly. I think that's a key one. If we want fewer ACL injuries in women, We need to do more than good rehab and return them to sport safely after an ACL tear, but we need to be better and have better smart prevention programs and strategies in place all over the world. I'm so glad FIFA is finally paying attention, but we need to act faster. Female athletes deserve better systems, better training and better support. Let's stop waiting for injuries to happen before we now decide to take this seriously.